Yay. I'm trying to get some mic action on this. Might be too late though. Looks like it's dead anyway. I'm gonna charge it. Just while we're waiting here. Hey, what's up? How's it going? Cool, cool. All right, we're gonna charge that up. If you can't hear me, I'm sorry. I'm charging my mic. So what we got here on the table is two different types of motors. I would call that a radial motor, pulse motor. It's currently running on 5.27 volts and about, I'd say 0.02, very small amount of amps. So like not 10 milliamps, but probably 20. Always wanted to try something because all these coils and whatnot are fastened or glued. I want to take this off. I want to put this little devil on and see if the field will reach. The combined field should reach. Alright. Let me adjust the camera so you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so we got the little rotor in there now. We'll turn it up. Now, what I think might have to happen I'm just going to make sure we got this. might work without having to really readjust anything. All right, boom. Now, if it can reach, it should go. And that would probably be the extent of its ability to reach. I mean, that's 2.5 inches. I'm going to turn it up to the point where we're drawing like 100 milliamps. So register on this thing and see if we can even get there. There we go. So we got to pull it up to 18.7, 18.5. But now we're getting there. I think that's pretty neat. It's a total of like 5 inches away from the rotor itself. You want me to bring the camera over to the I really don't want to remove the camera from the tripod, so I wish I had a cameraman with a more stable hand than mine. But that's awesome. We're up to 0.3 amps, 300 milliamps. That's nice. All right, so I got this Newman motor over here. Let me move it into the field of view. Right, there we go. So this is just one layer. So you got 2 coils with 1 layer. And then I realized I didn't need that. So this is how it is. Right there, and here's the rotor inside on some bearings. But I'm having trouble hooking it up. I have no idea how to hook this thing up. Anybody want to help me out? Oh, that thing is moving nice and well, it's not very smooth. It's actually kind of rocky, but I mean, it sounds smooth. It's a 120-degree rotor, so there's 3 magnets in here that are pretty strong. So this is same. It's a 0-1. So you got on and off, and they flip, so nothing's really ever off. So that's an awesome thing about it. Well, it's been hot lately. Really hot. So can you hook both coils up to 1 transistor and have it run? I mean, I hook up my multimeter to the coil here, to one coil, and it gives me some readings. So I think that's pretty good. If I hook it up to that multimeter right here, I can find out how many amps. Well, I might be able to find out with this one. Yeah, I think this one does it too. Neat. Alright, let me do this real quick. Because I've been checking the voltage, I haven't been checking amps, and we're not getting much voltage, we're getting enough for it to trigger itself. If that's even a thing. Nothing. Maybe a negative 0.1. Why is it negative, I wonder? Let's turn it the other way. Overload. So it's more than 20. Alright, we popped it. See, when I get comfortable with it, I'll like solidify everything. But right now it's just kind of sitting there. Anyway. I kind of want to see what amps are coming off of this thing over here. Because that's what I've been trying to run this other motor with, is this over here. And we're going to use the 9-magnet rotor. It's going to go probably a little slower. I mean, we'll draw amps way sooner on the voltage with the 9-magnet rotor. It's going to be the same deal with the 9-magnet rotor that is with the 3. Got your onset, got your offset, and it's never really off that way. Alright. And yeah, the torque is going to be great. The magnets are right up to the coils. Spins nice and smooth. Alright, so currently we are dimming this light. It works too, man. It's pretty bright, but I'm going to change that for right now. This one will go here. We're going to get a few different readings. We'll do a 16. Oh, look at it, it's already speeding up. Neat. Cool, I didn't even have to spin it. So we're generating 131 volts right now. Current, we're going to do AC current. 22 milliamps. That's nothing. That's why I can't run anything. So the suggestion that was given to me was to make big, thin coils so you can get amps out of them, but also get high voltage at the same time. Just make a lot of them. Let's see here. Alright, we're going to look at this, the wave now from the coil. You can see that. It's got strong north, strong south. It's like a mirror image, and it's all the magnets are north, facing north anyway. Not that some south isn't affecting whatever's going on here, but they're all facing north. They're all recessed, and yet we're getting this nice sine wave. Now if I plug in, say, the light to the coil, to this coil, it'll cut off at the top and cut off at the bottom and look like a square wave. So basically taking the tips of the sine wave and putting it into the light, and the reading is what's left over. I know that's not what it is, but that's what it looks like. Now what I was trying to do, and now I know I can't do it, not with just that coil, is take the energy from the coil and run this motor with it. It's got a really, really good bearing, 2 really good bearings in it, so I know that it'll spin with the lightest amount of energy. And it's a 4 magnet rotor, so it should spin pretty fast with a little bit of energy. Now see, since we're all the way up to 20 volts and it's still just 0.2 amps, I don't have a problem turning it all the way up. It only goes up to 25, and even at 25 we're only drawing 0.3. But it's unstable, so let me draw it back a little bit. If anybody's got any like top stabilization designs you want to drop, that's cool. I could really use some ideas right about now. Alright, but what I really want to get taken care of is this Newman motor. I have no idea how to hook this bad boy up. Oh, I wish. Yeah, flux capacitor, man. I think I made a flux capacitor. That little rotor on the ground is more like a flux capacitor. So, 120 degrees and everything. But this, man, this has the potential of generating a ton Yeah, we're at 17.6 volts, 0.1 amps. It's a great setup, I think. It's not going very fast. And for what I want it to do, it doesn't have to go tremendously fast. It just has to generate a certain amount. And it's falling short in the amp department by about 100 milliamps. See, man, this thing spins like a beauty. It spins so nice, and it's a little off balance, but still spins really good. And if we spin it the way it's off balance, it spins even better. Like, the momentum is so good. Because it's not overpowering, but it's definitely helping. Overpowering off balance, you'll be bouncing all over the table, and that's overpowering. It's like just a slight shift in the weight for momentum's sake, or ended up being for momentum's sake, because initially you don't want to have any off balance, but this ended up working for my benefit, like the way it did it. Boom. So anybody got any ideas on how to hook that up? Nobody knows? Hmm. Man, that is weird. Barely any energy was being... That's weird. Alright, so I'm going to probably do another couple layers but I'm going to use 32 gauge instead of 26. Because I think the problem is that it's weak sauce and it's not even strong enough to move the thing. But I might be totally wrong with that. It's 26 gauge wound unifier, like perfectly flat layer here on both sides. They're separate. I just want to know how to hook it up so that it'll start working. Should be able to do it with just one layer. I mean, right? Anyway, the reason I use this kind of motor is because it's easy, simple. You wind a coil, it goes in where you started, goes out where you ended, and you do all your coils like that, and it's easy. But with the trigger coils, like this coil, it's weird sometimes, and maybe it depends on which way you're facing it. But sometimes if it's not working and you just switch the trigger coil strands, it'll work. So it's an enigma in my mind. It's not supposed to do that, but it does. So maybe it depends on how you wound it. These coils here are 10 strands in each one of these coils. 200 turns. You got 4 24 gauge strands, you got 4 26 gauge strands, and you got 2 30 gauge strands in each coil. With that being said, you have two series circuits inside of each coil. One has, one of these circuits has two of 24 and 26 and one of 30. And you do that twice in each one. I mean, it ups the cost a little bit. It costs a little bit more amps, a little bit more power to run that, but you got way more torque. You're not going to get more speed. I've checked this out numerous occasions. If you're going to use the same coil, basically doesn't matter how you hook it up, you're going to get to the same place. It's different how you get there each time. Like if I hook them all up in parallel, and I can do that now. I have 2 packages of fast switching transistors, the little ones, 10 a piece, so I can hook up this one and that one parallel. Man, it's gonna be like a lot of power to run that, but it'll. I'm having a feeling that to get to max Q with this, with the parallel circuit, would take no time at all. It'd be like nothing, and it'd be a very low, very efficient, like low voltage. I mean, but you know, each voltage has its different RPM. Basically what happens is the safety mechanism in my brain, right around 1200 RPMs, turns on and says, hey man, you're gonna cut this back or somebody's gonna get hurt. And that's why 1200 with this rotor is about as fast as I'm ever gonna want it to go. Not saying I won't get a better rotor that we could do some crazy stuff with, but yeah, that's about it. It's about as much as I'm willing to do. Because the shaft is weak. Oh man, I want to share it. See this right here? You can barely see it, but this is a tungsten copper shaft, tungsten alloy copper shaft. It is the hardest freaking thing I've ever felt in my life. Yeah, it puts it to shame, dude. This thing is solid. It's heavy. There's a 1/4 inch rod. It's only 12 inches long, and it's freaking heavy. You know, it's but to make a long, sad story short, it's stuck, and the rotor won't fit on it. It's microns too big. Microns, man, but it won't hug the shaft, and it's stuck. So it's gonna fast become. I mean, if I unscrew everything and try and yank it out of there, I could probably get it out of there, but the flanges will always be on it. There's no way I'm getting that off. But this is a beautiful piece of metal, man. I'm telling you, this is. Because the other shaft that I had here in the center that I was using when I had my accident, and the rotor went flying off the table, got bent in the center. It's chrome steel, you know, it got bent in the center, and I was like, oh dude. Imagine what I could do with one of those lightweight aluminum, like 4 magnet rotors that's balanced. Wow. Then, and you know, and it doesn't like totally bend the shaft when it gets going really fast. Then yes, man, that's what we're gonna do. I heard there's a few places. One's PCB way, and I'm planning on maybe getting a hold of them. Been doing my own for a while, but I've been eyeballing everything. because I don't know how to, there aren't any tools in Tinkercad to, you know, adjust things. It's, and maybe it's just because I don't know how to use it really. I'm sure, pretty sure that these, you know, desirable traits of a CAD program come standard with pretty much every one of them. But I want to put some threads in. I want to make it like a chassis, you know, kind of like this one, like a housing, kind of. Because the magnets I use are 40 millimeters, 40 millimeters. So you can't get a little thin thing. It's going to be at least that thick. But the magnet, it's worth it. It's way worth it. And then I got my flying saucer. That's 3 magnets. This is 4 magnets. This little bad boy, they're 1/2 inch, but they're 3 inches long. So they're very powerful, but in a very small area. And I don't know, like, it's hit or miss whether the trigger coil is going to work. See, and as long as I mark the ends of my Newman motor coils, like 1A, 1A, 1B, 1B, all the way up, I get it. To get the amount of ohms, the desired amount of ohms of 26, I'm going to have to do about 38 layers of 26. And then tie them all together in a series circuit. And I found that that's going to be the easiest way for me to do it and keep everything straight. That's going to be important for me with this. I don't know if I'm going to, like, yeah, wow. I wish there was a way. So like I can spin this one out here like this, right? And it spins. Let's see if this one will fit. Because if it does, no. See, it's too fat. That shaft is too fat for all my bearings. That sucks, man, because that's definitely the material that I would like to use. Just not cool. Yeah, but I got the idea of putting the 3-inch cylinders in a rotor. I think that was a really good idea. All right. So no help on the Newman motor yet. That's all right. I'm gonna keep asking periodically if anybody knows how to hook this up. All right, yeah. Did we check the? Yeah, we did it. Like 22 milliamps. See, and if I push the shaft in or the core in all the way, because when I have the core, it's flimsy. The stand, what it's standing on is flimsy and bends in towards. So I gotta pull it out that far. Let's see how far. It's probably going in about that far on the coil, about halfway. Now, if I put it in all the way, that means I have to pull it out. It can't be that close. readings are better when it's close. Yeah, so I think that my next venture is to get enough connections to hook up this side parallel and the other side parallel. I just have a feeling that that much power is gonna and it's not even that it's that much power, it's just, it'd be truly amazing to see if it all works. There aren't any crossed wires. I mean, I'm using a breadboard for the Newman motor. It's right here. Oh, I can't lift it up. But the power supply is where I'm at right now. Yeah, it's weird because I've gotten 222 volts off of this coil alone and about 1.05 amps. I think it was when it was just backed out a little bit more. And the core was all the way in. I think that's what I'm going to do. I might do that in the stream real quick. Seeing this other power supply goes up way more voltage, but it only does 8 amps. And judging by this, we don't need any amps. But, you know, I don't need it to go that fast. I want to pull these out. Just a little bit. And I want to run it again. I want to pull them out just a little bit and see. See how it runs. Okay. So we're going to shove this all the way in. Right. And then oh man. feel like I want to pull those coils out, like drive coils even, pull them back a little bit. Alright, I wonder what we're getting now, because I feel it, like, pulling. Alright. Let's reset this. And turn it up. Now with the coils being so far out, what the hell? Alright, we are going to have to back those out a little bit. It's because of the core being all the way in. Can I run this without gluing that down? I wonder, with being this far out. Because you only get that push when it's up close. See what we can do with that. Because I was watching another YouTuber, have his coil pretty far out. I'm not so sure about the trigger, but see if that catches. If not, I'll move the triggers in and it should work. I'm thinking we're not going to be drawing as many amps because they're farther away, so let's see. 25 volts in. I mean, if I wanted to wait around, I'd probably leave it at a low voltage. I think we're drawing some amps now. Yeah. There we go. There's some grip. 0.4, 0.5. Going up. 0.6. There we go. And since everything is all right up on it, we don't get all the knocking, which is a warning sign, you know. Oh, it's way less volts. Way less, being way out there. Huh, man, how can I get that to be stable? I would say get a bolt, like a U-bolt or something, and bolt it down, but it's not your typical shape. It is not a U-bolt that you're just going to find out there. But that might be an idea. Get it in close, bolt it down, but it'll still have a tug on it. I mean, Jesus, it's only generating 73, my bad, 73 volts of AC. But it is 3/4 of an inch away from the rotor. That's moving smooth, man, I like it. We are pulling like a high number of amps though. .8. But I think that's awesome, man. That is going pretty fast. Let's see what we got. 600. 616.5. I guess 600 before it popped on the thing. So that was what I was trying to do. One amp. .9 amps. Wow. That's actually running pretty smooth. I'm pretty happy with that. Makes me feel dumb. I never really had to glue any of my coils down to begin with. And I think them being a little bit out is, it's all right. So I'm just saying that the other power supply that I have chilling over here does 60 volts. This is 25 max. Anybody want to see more? I feel pretty safe with them being, you know, pulled out. Man, that'd be something to see, I guess. Whew, it's hot, man, I'm telling you. Scorching. Hi. How are you? That's Kostia. Hi. From Russia? Nice. Which part? So, we're going on, I've gotten conflicting reviews. You get more torque and more speed when you have them, the coils closer. But here it looks like we're getting more speed. Well, I don't know, let me check real quick and make sure that it looks that way because it's going really smooth, but no. This is full power, we're only going 700. But move those in just a little bit. This is dangerous though, people. This is 25 volts with 1 amp going through them. Huh. So we moved them in like half a centimeter on each side. You can see the difference, man. That's crazy. $900. See, that's what I'm talking about. Right, when it gets to about 1,000, sometimes I can get it up to 1,200. But without top stabilization, that happens every time because it's a little unbalanced. I mean, a little unbalanced, and it's heavy. Top heavy with the high center of gravity. It's bound to happen. But if I had something like holding it down that was made out of something solid, like lumber of some kind, then I could stabilize it. Then I might even be able to make have a longer one, maybe put more than one rotor on there. So let me see if I didn't screw this up. I did. Frick. Man, I wanted to see what that was. It looked like 974 for the last reading on that before I had to turn it down. So that's the one thing that I haven't done really, or one of the one things that I haven't done, is hook all 10 of these on both sides up parallel. Yeah, like I did it with one because that's all I had transistors for, was to do 10. So I did the 10 and it was like, it took a while for it to get started, and I guess that's because the transistors weren't matched. They weren't matched properly, so that they would pop at different times with the same amount of juice applied to them, like in the base. So yeah, the inductance of all of them were different. So it took a little while for it to get started, but once it did, it's like, wow, it sounded like a chain, like a saw, literally. It's cool. Can't express how much fun I've been having. Yeah, I really want to get this thing off the ground and running. I hope I can do that today. It's a Newman motor, style motor. This right here is my shaft. 4 ferrite slabs, round. The reason it's this shape is because I have an alternate that I can use in here if I need to. It's a little bit more off balance than this one, so I'm not using it currently. It's way more powerful, like way, like above and beyond. It's a 600-pound magnet. If you go on Amazon, the large rectangle magnet that they say is the strongest they sell on Amazon. I got 2 of them with the shaft in the middle, and it's like, but it's a little off balance. Like everything I try and eyeball is a little off balance, just a little bit. I mean, I got things to help me eyeball. I got a microscope now that I carry around, hooks to my phone. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Get to look at things up close. Like if I'm trying to work with some 42 gauge, that might be helpful. Because I'm blind as a bat, man. I can't see half the stuff I'm working with. And when they showed me the tools that I'd be working with the little flanges that hook to the poles, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. It's a little Allen wrench that's like as big as one part of my thumb. I'm like, come on, man. I never thought I was clumsy, but you're proving me to be wrong. That's great, man. That's so cool. Me, I'm glad I'm not like greedy for speed, because then this wouldn't be good enough for me. But this is great. This is great, man. That's gonna get up to 900, and then I'm gonna have to shut it off. So I'm happy with this. So which rotor should I use when I make an attempt to run the second motor? Should I use the 9 magnet rotor? Or the 120-degree 3 magnet rotor? And then I can put some south, like right here. These are all north. And then I can put some south right next to them without like really messing stuff up, I think. I mean, I only put 3 in there because if I put any more in there, things are going to start getting messy. That's how strong these magnets are. And yeah, I used a roll of painter's tape to make sure the magnets didn't pop out. I think that's ingenious almost. I mean, it's simple as hell. Anybody can come up with it, and it works. It's not crap. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't 3D print the stopper. Who cares? I like this one though. I like this one. I mean, it's not perfect, but it gets the point across without that fewer magnets equals more RPMs. What I'm trying to say. You know, judging by like what I see, that doesn't make any sense. But judging by what the meter says, perfect sense. But this just looks like it's whipping along, man. Like, ooh, right? But it's only going like maybe 200 right now. Maybe a little more. And with the magnets in this one being so close together, it gets its own maglev without actually needing an extra magnet. What up, Kevin? Yeah, man. Absolutely. I mean, I'm very strongly opinionated when it comes to, you know, fantasy and stuff like that. But yeah, the science part of it, that what you're talking about, I'm down, man. I really enjoy learning about this stuff. You know how to do a Newman motor by chance? Right now, currently, I just have one layer of 26 covering both of these bobbins, and then I tape it down because I'm planning on doing more layers on top of that. And then, you know, if I need to tie them together to make a certain amount of ohms or something like that, I'll just series circuit the stuff, and should work as long as I keep it all marked. I just don't know how to hook it up. I can wind a coil just fine, but I don't know how to hook this up. I don't get it. Alright, so I've hooked it up like 15 different ways already, and none of it's worked. So I mean, Get rid of you for now. Alright. Now this should be really cool. Maybe. We'll see. Like we're getting some rotation there. We're at 7.34 volts in with less than 100 milliamps. Yeah, it is a little lopsided. I think a lathe would work on it. Let's try and pull 100 milliamps real quick. Wow, this is pretty efficient. Oh, there we go, 17 and a half. We finally pulled 100 milliamps. Oh man, I don't think I have tinfoil for the tack though. I guess we can do it this way. So 2,000 divided by 3. 1750, 750. Yeah, that's awesome. It's about 2,000 divided by 3. It's pretty much where we're at with, looks like 17.9 volts in and 100 milliamps, 0.1 amps. Now I could set up the coil, but I don't know, man. I love how these things spin unhindered. That's fun. But then again, you know, if I had a setup of coils that would generate me at least half an amp, then I would run this other motor over here. But this one coil right here, this big 32 gauge coil only does about 22 milliamps altogether. Can't even tell it's spinning, can you? It's like, whoa. There's nothing to let me know. There are like several things that I've tried several times. Several different things. You know, people say that, you know, you could turn the power back in on itself and it'll run itself, right? Or it'll increase the RPMs or the speed, yeah, basically. And then, so I did that. I took the energy from the big coil and I put it back into the positive side of the power distribution right here, and it bogged the thing down. Didn't increase the speed at all, made it slower. And that's putting it in the positive side. So it's like, and every experiment where I turn the power supply off all the way, fails. It's a failure. As soon as I turn this off, it's over. There's no way to compensate for this. Now, if you're using a battery setup and you can prolong, that's about what you can do. Now, I'm saying there's a few things that I believe are possible. One is that our periodic table is not complete. We don't know all of what's out there. Carbon, whatever, or not. We don't know. We know what we know, and that's cool. It works. But I just have a feeling that we don't know everything in regards to what's out there. And I don't know anything for certain. It's just a hunch that this can't be all there is. You know what I'm saying? If you don't know what I'm saying, that's perfectly okay. Because it is an opinion. I think that's just awesome. That's very cool. Alright, so nobody for the Newman motor, huh? I wonder if it's like a part of my connection that's bad. And then I had it hooked up the right way several times already, and it's just part of my connection that's messed up. It's totally possible. Because these clips are getting old. Alligator and crocodile alike, they've been stepped on 100 times. You know, I'm lucky they can still do what they do. Because I've used all my connectors in the series circuits for the drive coils. They're all used. I've used 3 of them for this one coil right here. And they're 3 bangers. They have 3 holes on each side. Oh, you can't see it. Nope. Oh. So, I've been saying, or I said earlier, that I had a catastrophic magnet failure. The magnets went flying. The rotor went flying. That big rotor down there went flying off my table, bent the shaft. I had a point to all that, and it had nothing to do with what actually happened. It was, yeah, that's the painstaking reality of what happens to you when you smoke too much weed. I don't even smoke that much, but it's too much, obviously. Oh, so I'm wondering just if I could run the Newman motor with that big juicy coil right there and this, oh, you can't see it, apparatus right here. It's got 20 capacitors. It's got 4 full bridge rectifiers and 4 amplifiers. So, I mean, it goes in AC and it comes out scrubbed, squeaky clean, DC, but it's still pulsed. It's still as though you got it off of your pulse motor. It's still boop, 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 boop. I don't know why it comes out of the capacitors like that, but it does. Somebody's got to make a capacitor that fixes that, that actually allows the electricity to rest as it collects. So it's not, you know, to manipulate the power more efficiently. I think it's real important that, you know, little things like that get looked at. I think it moves really smooth considering the slag is rubbing up against the side. And if this motor works, that shouldn't be a problem. I mean, look at it go with just me spinning it. If the motor works, this should not be an issue. So you can kind of hear it hitting the side. And to spin it the way I'm spinning it right now puts the momentum to our favor because it's slightly off balance in that direction. So it's a little bit harder to spin it the other way. So you spin it this way and it tumbles itself almost. And it's only because of that slight imbalance. And I didn't do it on purpose. It feels like it's going to be a boon instead of a problem. At least I hope so. The way I see it, it'll be a good thing, not a bad thing. Now, I guess you could call it a Bedini style motor, and I guess that the only reason that it's even similar is because of the radial coils with the large rotor in the center, with the magnets on the outside of it. I mean, but I was building these things before I even knew who these people were. Like they kept on saying John Bedini, and I'm like, who? You can't just drop a bomb on me like that and not fill in the blank, dog. Who is that? And I'm not trying to be ignorant or anything. It's just, since we're having a conversation. Oh man, I hope there haven't been a lot of comments because the feed hasn't been feeding. So if there aren't any, that's good too. Yeah, I think that's great. So what I heard about the Newman motor is that like one coil is the bottom coil is supposed to be polarized a certain way, and the top coil is supposed to be polarized the opposite direction. Right? And then it should function, right? I mean, right? Just how do you do that? How do you make that happen with the connects? I know there's a really easy way to do it. And I might not have enough copper on this thing yet for it to even work, but it should work. I mean, I had this thing running on 50 turns of 32 gauge pretty well. So there should be no like problem with the power going in running this thing. There should be no problem. But you know, I have problems where there aren't problems. So some of my problems have been real, some of them have been real ridiculous, for sure. Oh man. There are mistakes that I've made in my life that I will not make a second time. But let's keep it real, and I'm on par here. I just had to get that off my chest. Right. Sputnik? Isn't Sputnik a little like ancient? Or have they revamped Sputnik since the last time I heard about it? Yeah, I mean, that's like elementary school for me. I'm like 40 plus. So I hope it's been refurbished at least. Because that space race is getting real. It's getting real. That space race is getting real. They're about to send people. Dude, I mean, we are that close. Within a few years, I bet there'll be people on the friggin' starship. And that thing will be moving towards Mars. And they're probably going to have to sign some freaking waivers because chances that they're coming back, I don't know. I don't, the first voyage out there, I don't see those people coming back. Just the way I see it. I don't know if we're going to have it all ready on the first go, and we're not going to learn as we go, but usually we learn as we go. So, I mean, that means there's probably going to be some sacrifice. Not without knowledge, of course. I mean, if you, it's not like they'd be tricking you or anything. You know exactly what you were getting into. Yeah, you're going to Mars. That's right. There's a 52.89% chance that you're not coming back. Do you understand? Awesome. You're the pioneer, man. That's awesome. All right. That's just my opinion. I tend to be a realist. I'm not really a negative person. It's just reality. Like, this world isn't hunky-dory all the time. At least not for me. That's why I locked my head in this stuff, man, because it's supposed to be pretty straightforward. Not a lot of room for blind sides. I mean, like the occasional shock and oops, oh my God, I'm dead kind of thing. That's terrible, but it hasn't happened to me. I mean, I've been shocked a few times. And I think that it's really, really, really good at this point that I don't use a lot of copper in my coils, considering how many times I've been shocked. Which is three times. Again, I'm gonna throw it out there. If anybody has Newman motor information, like I only have 4 strands, 2 in the bottom coil, 2 in the top. That's all I got. And the coil was wrapped from the bottom up, so it was wrapped, and it stops up by the bearings on both. So it started on the bottom up. So the ends are in the middle, and the beginnings are at the top and bottom. I don't know if it's too important. Usually it is important. So I just thought I'd throw it out there. And I was going to use like the strands that are already here to trigger, because it does generate enough voltage to trigger. But I don't know. I don't know if it worked, and nothing's been working. So, I mean, it's like I said, it generates enough voltage to trigger the transistor. Yeah, I don't know, like, where to get my hands dirty here, like. So if I hook the bottom one, hook the power up to the bottom one, bottom strand, bottom end, then the center end would be now, how do I connect it to the top coil so that I have to use one transistor to run the whole thing? So it would be in the bottom, out the top, connected to, and it'd probably have to be a DC connection, right? So you need a diode there in between the two. Or no, do you? I don't know. I don't know if it's important or not. I'm sure you could use it. Let's see. Let's just give it a shot. What the hell? Man, this thing is really tangled. Extremely tangled. Alright, so power. gonna go in bottom. And then we're gonna take the end of that coil and we're gonna send it through. But we're gonna send it through the opposite end first of the top one. I mean that makes sense to me. If you want them to be the opposite way. All right, so yeah, so we'll go in the end first. Bam. We'll take the collector pin right here and we'll hook it up immediately to the end. All right, and now we're going to take I don't know. See, this is where I get lost. I'm trying to do the base of the transistor, and I only have the two strands, one for the top coil and one for the bottom coil. I don't have a separate strand. What I want to do is I want to use the strand that's in there as a trigger as well. Can I do that? Is a question that I really want to have answered. So I guess since we put that on that one, this would go on this one. And it would go to the negative side. Alright, let's see what we get. Oh, we got motion. Yeah, it isn't hooked up right, but we're getting some amp readings. Hi. Hi. How are you?
Good.
Finally, I love it that we're finally getting some amps pushed through this thing.
I have TikTok now.
Good for you. So, maybe we don't need the ground. Let's see. I seem to have reached the same snag. I can't get the transistor to yeah, I don't know what to do. I mean, I got another idea. Just hook up half of it and have the top half be the trigger for the bottom half, and have the bottom half be the trigger for the top. But I'm struggling here with the connections. All right. We are going to be ready in just a second. I need to ground the top coil. Oh, come on now. See, that's what I'm talking about. My clips are just about had it. Nope. Nope. All right. Well, that's that. See that one over there was responding with every motion that I do with this power supply. That's why I know something's not right. Maybe it is too heavy. All right. Well, I'm gonna take it easy, spend some time with my kids. Thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate everybody that comes through. Too bad we couldn't get the Newman motor figured out. I think I'll put some more coil on there and see if that'll help. Thank you very much, everybody. Peace out.